I'm Ryan Stevens.
Dr. Taylor Waters.
I'm Ben Oliver.
Welcome to the Superhuman Show, yeah?
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Superhuman Show with your host, Ben Oliver, joined by Ryan Stevens, Dr. Taylor Waters, the crab, with a side chest. So today is common phrases that we hear from clients where they say one thing to us, but it typically means something else. And
the evidence doesn't support it type thing, what they're saying.
yeah, it either doesn't make sense logically, or it's they're saying words, but what they're actually trying to say or the meaning behind them is a completely different saying. And so I like this stuff though, because this is the shit that you don't really even think about when you start coaching. Mm-hmm. You just take everything on face value, and you go, okay, like cool. And then you do those things and you don't see through it. Whereas when you work with enough people, you see the common things that people say, common behaviors that they do. And then you realize, oh, they're saying this, but what they actually mean is this. Mm-hmm. And like, just like a bit of a story before, because we got some phrases that we want to go through.
Story time with Ben.
Story time with Ben. Get your porridge, boys.
Tuna and oats.
Yeah, tuna and oats. So, but it was, I had a female client and she kept saying, I'm too busy to go to the gym. And initially I said, okay, like we'll do some home workouts. Did some home workouts, but had some success with them, but we really needed to get to the gym. Like our goal was to build muscle. It's like, there's only so much you can do at home. And I was like, you need to go to the gym. Like if you have time to work out at home, like let's find a gym that's closer to you. Anyway, it was like, nope, I'm too busy to go to the gym. I don't like going to the gym. And I was like, okay, you didn't say that before. You didn't say you didn't like going to the gym. You said you're too busy. And then it was, okay, so what don't you like about the gym? She's like, well, it's really busy. And so, and I don't like that. And I'm like, okay, so it's the time that you're going to the gym is very busy. I said, what don't you like about it being a busy gym? And she's like, well, I feel like people are staring at me. And so I say, okay, so we've gone from you saying you're too busy to go to the gym to now we're saying you don't like going to the gym because you feel insecure, because you feel like people are looking at you. They are two completely different statements. Mm-hmm. Like, and the solutions are completely different. And so it was like just having a conversation about, I can completely understand that. People always feel like people are staring at you in the gym, when the reality is most people are so worried about how they themselves look. They're not even looking at anyone anyway. Mm-hmm. And so then we kind of said, well, how about we try it for a couple of sessions, just, grit your teeth and get through it. And then you'll realize that you'll get more confident as you go to the gym. And then now she loves going to the gym and it's absolutely fine. But if all I took was I'm too busy to go to the gym and I never dug any deeper, we'd still be doing bullshit home workouts and never actually facing the issue of I'm not confident when I go to the gym. And so there's like a few phrases that clients will say either in the beginning of their program or like somewhat in the middle, where we always tend to dig a bit deeper. And so if you want to go through the ones that we put together, Taylor.
So the first one I've got is I'm too busy to eat. So this is one that often comes up, if someone is in a fat loss phase, or, quite often they'll come to you and they're, say they got 40 pounds to lose and they go, I'm too busy to eat. And it's like, well, if you were too busy to eat, the outcome of being too busy to eat would usually mean you're underweight.
Yeah.
So how come you've got the outcome of overweight,
of over consuming, but you don't have time to even consume.
I haven't got time to consume. I've over consumed. It's like, it doesn't hold any weight in at all. And there are a few ways of looking at it. I was literally having this conversation with a guy this week, and it's like he is busy during the day and he often skips meals during the day because he's busy. I mean, he's too busy to eat. He just chooses to skip the meal because he wants to focus on his work.
Yep.
And then as a result of that, then he drastically overconsumes in the evening, which takes him over his allotted intake for the day.
But it also doesn't change the fact it's like, but you do have time to eat in the evenings.
Yeah.
Like, because you do have time to eat. So even if it's like, do you have time to drink water? Yes. Then you have time to eat. Like, because you could be drinking a protein shake instead of water. So like you do, Like it again, it's exactly what you've just said. It's not that he doesn't have time to eat. He's choosing not to eat during the day, and then he's eating all of his calories in the evening.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you spread out the time that he eats everything at night, he has plenty of time to eat.
Yeah.
Also, another one as well, which relates to that comment, is when people say like I'm too busy to eat, it often leads them to like going in drive-throughs and picking foods and stuff that almost aren't conducive to their progress. And like the real issue is, okay, you just don't know what foods to choose, kind of like that are convenient.
The most convenient food choices to you are resulting in you being overweight.
Like at the moment, you go to Starbucks, you get a chocolate croissant, and like one of those 500 calorie coffees or whatever it is. When really, like you could go to like Walmart and pick up like a protein drink
so
and some fruit, you know?
Butter and caramel frappuccino.
Yeah, but even then, it's like, okay, so it's not that you don't have time to eat. You don't want to spend any time thinking about what you're going to eat. So you grab something on the fly without a thought. And so if I could just say, right, when you go to Starbucks, order these two things, it's going to take the exact, if anything, it's going to take less time for them to prep than what you're doing now. We've just solved that problem. Then you see they still don't do it. Yeah. And so time isn't even the thing. It's, I don't want to think about this stuff at all. Right. So again, we've gone from I don't have time to eat to I just don't want to put much thought into this. Okay, well, when has that ever worked? When you're trying to improve something? Oh, I really want to get better at this thing and get the result, but I don't want to put much thought into it. What the fuck do you think is going to happen? And so like, but again, you've gone from that statement of like I just don't have the time to eat. And it's like, well, you're 50 pounds overweight. You got time to put the calories in somewhere.
You found plenty.
So-
You've found plenty of time.
Yeah. So what is the actual problem?
Yeah, tell me what the real problem is.
And if the real problem was I don't have time to eat, let's say that was true, I would say the actual problem there is your time allocation. Like you've really put yourself in a position where you have zero time because eating is one of the most important things you can do within your days. So it's like, so the problem there is you haven't allotted enough time to get something done. Yeah. So it's like that's still not a dietary problem. That's a time problem. So it's like it doesn't hold much weight in regardless of which way you go.
Yeah, and also if we like take the extreme example where if you didn't eat, you would die. It's like, well, you're eating at some point and you're eating something. You know, so it's like we could just change the foods that you were eating, and you would get the outcome that you want at the same time
that you're actually eating because you are eating. Like you say, you don't have time to eat. You do because you are that. Hence why you've gained X amount of weight.
X, Y, like 300 pounds.
And if you didn't eat, you would die. So it doesn't hold any weight. So let's find out why you've come to that conclusion of I don't have time to eat, and that's usually what it is. It's I don't want to put. Sometimes it's more of a priority thing though. Again, like you said, like they don't want to put much thought into it. They don't want to apply much time to it, which is okay. We can find really convenient ways to get the job done. However, it's still going to need some thought and some time. Because you can.
I've said to guys like meal prep company, get your meals prep delivered. It takes 2 minutes to reheat in the microwave. You can eat the actual meal in 3 minutes. So you're saying you don't have 15 minutes in your day where maybe you're sat in the back of an Uber or you're waiting between meetings, you have a bathroom break and you can quickly have a meal. Like you're saying you don't have even that. I don't believe you.
Yeah. I think, do you know, you make a really good point there because you know when they say these phrases, they're all very surface and they're almost like easy solutions. And then when they come back and say, well, you really don't have 15 minutes, it's like now you're starting to dig deeper into the real issue.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because maybe in the past where they've worked with coaches or even like when they're just saying it to themselves, they say, I don't have time. And I think partly they're expecting you to go, okay, fair enough. Whereas we go, show me your calendar. And then they open it. It's like, I can see 4 hours open there. What are you doing during that time?
Yeah.
Like you watched 3 episodes of Ozark that night. Like, do you think you could watch 2 and do a bit of meal prep? Like there's always like when you really break it down, it's like you do have time. So let's have the conversation about why you don't want to spend the time doing this. Because that's way more important conversation than like saying, oh, well, you can do meal prep, you can do these things. Because this is what I've realized is like tactics don't matter if you don't
the desire's not there.
If the desire and the why isn't there. Like very, very rarely when you have clients that struggle when they travel, does the tactic thing actually work? Like sometimes they genuinely just don't know what to do. But 99% of the time, if people go off plan when they travel, it's because they've decided that when they travel, they're not going to stick to their plan. Because I've got so many clients where we don't even have the travel discussion. They're just like, oh, I'm going away this weekend, but it's all good. I got my meals prepped. Like I know what I'm going to do. And it's like, oh, I didn't have to tell you to do anything. And they're like, yeah, because I live in America and I can get things shipped to my fucking house and order food on every corner and get exactly what I want. Like no problem. And then you've got the same situation where like that guy would be like, so I had to travel for 3 days. So, you know, I had takeout every night and I didn't have breakfast. And then I had Starbucks pastry for lunch. And yeah, I just couldn't find anything. It's like, really? Like, or did you just not want to? Like you just put the blinders on ready for a few days. And but it's the same scenario.
Yeah.
So it's like the saying to that second person, oh, well, like you can order stuff. And it's like, do you not think they know that? Like they fucking know they got Instacart. Like they're just choosing not to even think about it.
Same thing, they get a fridge full of these meals where they've ordered all these meals in and they still don't do it.
Yeah.
So it's okay. So again, the question goes back to why aren't you doing it now? Because
we've
solved the problem that you said you had and you still aren't doing the things that we need you to do. Yeah. So what's the next?
And we always stress, like when we have these conversations, like why aren't you doing it? We're not looking like it's not a punishing conversation of like you should be doing it. It's genuinely like inquisition, like what, like I'm curious to know why you don't want to do it, because there's nothing wrong with you not wanting to do it, but you also just have to accept that you're not going to get the thing if you don't want to do it. Like if you say I just don't want to diet when I travel, fair enough, but you travel 60% of the time, so we're probably only going to get 40% of the results, if that. Like at best, you know, that's our max.
40% from an execution standpoint is likely
it's
not going to result in anything.
Yeah. So it's like as long as you're okay with not getting the results, then all good.
It's like as long as you're aware of the outcome of your decisions and you accept responsibility for it.
There's no good or bad. It's simply like here are the likely outcomes of the behaviors that you're doing. Are you okay with that? If not, then we probably need to change the behavior.
Yeah. Well, a big part of our job is to help you solve problems.
Yeah.
And if we don't know what the problem is, we can't solve it. So that's what we're trying to do, is trying to find out what the real problem is here, rather than this problem that you're saying is there. Because we've now found out that it's not there because we've already solved that one.
Yeah. And sometimes the problem is you thought you wanted something and you don't want it now. And that's okay.
Yeah.
What's the next one? Let's go for the next one.
So we got, I need to see immediate results.
Okay. Yeah. So this... I've had a few clients where they'll openly say on the onboarding call, they're like, I need to see results like in the first 2 weeks, or I'm going to go off track, like and I'm not going to stick to my plan. And part like that it does, like it's a frustrating thing, because I almost want to be like, what, you think that like you're just going to get these results, like you've fucked around for 2 decades and now you say you need to see immediate results. I'm like, what's the rush, bro? Like you've not got anything in 20 years and I'm saying I can get it to you in 1 year, but you need it in 2 weeks. Like why? Like, and so I like, first thing I would say is why? Like why do you need to see immediate results to then stick to something? And then I would say, tell me some other things that you've achieved in your life. And I say, how long did that take? I say, were you just naturally good at it, or did you suck for the first few years? And they go, oh no, I was terrible for like the first 5 years. It's like, right. So is it reasonable to say that you're probably not going to be very good at this for the first 2 weeks? We're probably not going to get those immediate results. But if we stick to it, we're going to get great results. And then they're kind of like, huh. And then even then they're like, no, I still need the immediate results. I'm like, cool, 1,000 calories a day, fucking great.
Yeah.
It's like one of the most important things in like fitness and nutrition, delaying instant gratification. Like, what do they say? Like, one sunny day doesn't make a summer or whatever. It's like coming in with that mindset is definitely something to focus on in terms of like changing expectations, isn't it? It's like,
even just the word need, like I need this or else. It's like, okay, is this an objective number? Like what, like if you say I need to lose 10 pounds and we lose 9.9, are you disappointed? And they go, well, no. It's like, right, so it's not an objective number. So like, what is it that you need to feel to be bought into this? Like
quite often people who say that, the behaviors that they then do don't reflect someone who needs it.
Yeah.
Like, if you really need something, like if you need to breathe, and you're being suffocated, you will fight as hard as you can to get that breath in.
Because if you really needed to, if I needed to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, I wouldn't hire a coach. I would just not eat.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, cool. Like, if so, like, because you've seen it all the time where, like, dads have had to lose like 100 pounds so they can be a donor for their kids for like a kidney transplant. They'll lose 100 pounds in 4 months. And they'll be like, what did you do? It's like, I just didn't eat.
Yeah.
Like, my kid's life was on the line. I starved myself for 4 months. And it was the easiest thing I ever did.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, if you need it bad enough, you'll fucking do anything. But it's I need this. And it's like, cool, you've done 1 workout in 2 weeks and you should have done 8.
And you had 6 beers last
Yeah.
night.
Did you really need to do this?
Yeah.
Also, so like when they say like they need to, they almost create that, they almost put more pressure on themselves to do it.
It's the all or nothing.
All or nothing mindset again.
And then it's like day 3, they miss their workout and they go, well, I'm not going to lose my 10 pounds now. I'm not going to get the immediate results. What's the point?
Yeah. So I'm going to have 10 beers. It's like, oh yeah, because that solves the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think, what is the actual problem there? It's the problem is you cannot deal with delayed gratification in this field, or your perception of success with body composition is skewed because you think it's this thing which you're going to make one little transaction, a conversation, and you're going to get these phenomenal results. And it's like, it's a lot of the guys that we work with, they're successful business people. And it's like, with your business, is that the way it worked? Like this big company that you've now built, did you just wake up and go, oh, I'm just going to do this? And then suddenly it went whoop and it was gone. Like, no, it takes time to identify what you're good at, what you're not good at, work on the things you're not good at until you're then good enough to see progress.
Yeah.
It's like, it takes time. So the problem is you cannot be patient and work away at things. The problem is not you need to see immediate results.
Yeah. It's like you can't do the work without seeing the results straight away. You want like a trade-off. If I do something, I want to see the results straight away rather than doing the work before you see the result.
Like you said that word, like patience, like I always get clients say like, oh, I'm very impatient. And the only, because Layla said this, she's like, the difference, like what patience is being able to continue the behavior even though you want it to happen faster. So the only difference between impatient people and patient people, it's not that patient people don't care about the speed. It's just they continue doing the thing. Impatient people change because the moment they don't get it immediately, they change the behavior. So it doesn't mean that the patient person doesn't want to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, but they're going to still follow their plan regardless, even if it doesn't happen. That's the only difference. And so if like, and again, it goes back to what we spoke about before. People say, I'm this, I'm that, I'm very impatient. I say, well, should we work on you being patient then? Or have you just accepted that you're impatient in everything forever? It's a shit way to live.
Like so your impatience is what's getting you to where you are now. So we better work on that.
It's a great way to be frustrated and not get any results in anything. Like it's like patience, consistency, and persistency are like the 3 keys to it. Next one. Let's go for it.
So we have, I don't eat a lot.
This
you do?
This is like it's probably the similar people or the same people that say I don't have time to eat. They'll say I don't eat a lot, and when they say that, they're looking at number of actual meals per day. Might be one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it might be one. I only eat once a day. But your brain is registering one like legit meal, maybe dinner that your wife's cooked. But then during the day, you've had 3 lattes with full fat milk. You've probably had a pastry with 2 of them. You've grabbed some like
they always come with a pastry.
They always come.
A latte always
they're
comes
attached.
with a
They're
pastry.
attached to the cup. Like you might have had like a packet of chips or like a packet of nuts or something. You might have grabbed a quick sandwich that you completely forgot about, but because you're on the go and you're not having a sit-down meal, your brain is going, I don't eat a lot, like because you graze. You never feel satiated. You don't feel like you've eaten anything because you're just throwing in a couple hundred calories every few hours, and then you have this big feed at night, and you're like, oh yeah, no, this is all I've had today. I just
only
had
one meal.
Yeah, I just had chicken and rice.
Yeah.
But then you add up, you've had 2,000 calories through the day of just random shit that you're just not even clocking. And I don't think that's that's not like the person's fault because
this is more of a misunderstanding.
Yes.
This is like, I don't understand food because sometimes they perceive a lot as mass, as volume.
Yeah.
And it's true, you don't eat that much. The problem is what you do eat is like rocket fuel and you're not very active and you don't need rocket fuel. So it just results in you over consuming. So you don't eat a lot of food, but you do eat more calories than your body needs, hence why you have stored those around your waist.
Yeah.
It's like, so sometimes it is a misunderstanding of what eating a lot is. Like, what do we define as a lot? A lot of mass or a lot of calories or a lot of meals?
Yeah.
And
So
most people do it by the amount they eat and like the actual volume of food that they're eating. So like, I don't eat a lot. I only had like 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. Like, this
I had a pack of cookies. That's it. It's like 1,800 calories.
Yeah.
That could be 5 legit meals.
Yeah, because like you'll see like bodybuilders, let's say they have 6 meals a day, but they're all like chicken, rice, and broccoli. You've had one meal, which is a large Domino pizza.
Yeah.
Like if you put those pictures together, the bodybuilder looks like he's ate a lot, and you've just eaten a pizza. However, the energy density is drastically different. You know,
I would say me and you, like, we eat a lot.
Yeah.
Like, we eat a lot of food. If we weighed out all our foods out, me and Ryan probably do eat more food than you do.
Yeah.
But it's just we eat a lot of high mass food.
Yeah, we have high food mass.
Because I'll get clients that will say as well, like, I'm not a big eater, but they're 250 pounds. And I'm like, well, you fucking have done it somehow. But then you look at the types of foods that they eat and they are just so dense that when you say eat lean proteins and vegetables, they eat like 1,200 calories and they're stuffed.
Yeah.
And they'll lose a bunch of weight and they'll be like, I'm really struggling to get this food in. And it makes you think like, God, if we just had this conversation 5 years ago, you wouldn't have accumulated the 50 pounds because they're just eating, they're not big eaters. They're just eating the wrong things. And they're eating really low satiating foods that are crazy high in calories because they taste nice. Like that's it.
The interpretation of like eating a lot needs to go from like the amount of food you're eating to like how energy dense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, that one you can put down to misunderstanding quite often.
Yeah.
The next one we have is I need variety.
So Trevor used to say this. He said there's 2 types of people. There's people that know they eat the same thing every day, and there's people that think they eat things different every day, but they eat the same thing every day. And it's so true because I guarantee anyone listening, if I say, what did you have for breakfast yesterday? What did you have the day before? And what did you have the day before that? At most, you've got a rotation of 3 breakfasts.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
That you've had for the last 7 years. And you've probably got one of them, which is your go-to, and you probably have 4 to 5 times a week. What do you have for lunch? I bet it's a rotation of, even if you have a menu at home for dinner, where you have a different meal every night, it's the same 7 meals. Tuesday's Taco Tuesday, Wednesday's fucking lasagna, like Fridays we do a roast, like whatever. It's the
Fridays
same
Domino's pizza,
It's
Saturdays curry.
It's the same thing. And
Same thing rotated around.
We're all creatures of habit, whether you believe you are or not, and you will have 5 to 10 foods that you have eaten consistently for the last 10 years.
Yeah. Well, we have like a dinner menu at home, and it's like 5 meals that we have.
It's funny because I was filling in this like food diary thing for Nick, and it's like, show me what you eat, and I was just like, there's 8 foods on this.
Well, look at your diet, T. Like fucking protein and fruit every week.
Yeah. I was like, at
thing.
most there's 8 foods, and I was like, I really don't have that much variety. Like these are just the foods that I like.
Even when I do have variety, it's still the same variety as what I have anyway.
Yeah.
It's I'm eating something different with, but like say now, say a pizza for me is variety. Like that's something that I would consider different. But that'll be every couple of weeks. Like it's still something that I've had 100 times, 200 times, 300 times. It's like they say they have variety, but it's like, but when I look through your food diary, there's not much variety. You just have lots of cheese.
And the other thing
you just
as well
have lots of butter and.
Let's say you had a client that said, I need variety. And I said, okay, I've created a 14-day meal rotation for you. They will get to day 3 and go, this is so much work. I've got to buy different food every day and cook different meals and look at different recipes. Can I just eat the same? Is it okay if I eat the same thing? Yes.
More than okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And so that whole, like, I need variety, it's the, like, I get bored and I'll self-sabotage myself because I feel like I'm deprived of foods that I can't eat because they're not on my meal plan. When again, like when someone says I need variety, it's not that they want to swap apples for strawberries. They want to swap apples for apple pies.
Yeah.
And it's like, I need variety is basically saying I need to eat fun foods that are probably not conducive to my plan frequently. And again, it goes back to like, I'm not very good at sticking to a plan.
Yeah. That's literally the it's like I want to eat fun foods when I want to eat them.
And I don't want to track I don't want to track them. And I want like I want them to fit in my targets, even though it's really not feasible.
What is it? Like I don't want variety. I want a mouth orgasm every single time I eat a meal. That's what you actually want. Because you find that when you did have the steak and asparagus, it was nice, but it didn't give you like this, oh my God, it wasn't like a toffee sundae. And it's like, I know it wasn't a toffee sundae, but the problem is the toffee sundae doesn't do you any favors. It's like, so it's like, you know, the problem again is not that you need variety. It's you want every meal to be this mouth explosion, which is just such a fascinating experience. When it's like, if you are going to live that life, it's likely that you're going to overconsume because the types of foods that give you that satisfaction are usually pretty highly palatable.
And even if it is like, even if you do that, your food focus is going to be so high because every meal is your favorite meal. You're going to finish one meal and you're just going to be thinking about the next one all day. And then you're going to convince yourself that you're starving because all you're doing is thinking about food all day. And it doesn't mean you have to eat the most boring meals. You should eat foods that you're like, like it's chicken. I know what it tastes like. I can eat it. It's not the best chicken I've ever had, but it's edible. Cool. It's like, if you're hungry enough, tastes real fucking good. Like that was like Trevor's best thing. He's like, the number one thing that you can do to make any meal taste better, wait. It's like you wait long enough, anything tastes good. The longer you wait, the shitter the meal can be, and it still tastes amazing.
Like, I remember the back end of a bodybuilding prep, I'd be like, just give me some more rice, like plain rice, and I'll bite someone's hand off for it. Whereas like, if you're like quite sad, like after when you've had dinner and you look at like a dessert menu, you've got like apple pie, cheesecake, creme brulee, fudge sundae, and you're like, oh, that one doesn't look very nice. That one doesn't look very nice. Oh, that one looks lush. And it's like, they're all lush, but the problem is you're so like full to the
whereas like you're on prep and it's like, oh, for dessert you have an apple and you're like,
it's like,
come on.
It's like, how do you know if you're hungry or bored? It's like a plain chicken breast.
I remember doing preps like, and I would have a banana and I would just sit there and just be like, this is the best thing this tastes like banana pudding. Like, and it's a fucking barely ripe banana.
Well, fucking hell, I used to put tuna in my oats. That was a game changer.
With water.
With water,
Oh, even having like plain oats with water, just more of it. You're just like, oh my God, this is the best.
But that's where on like social media, you see a lot of like bodybuilders who are in like preps and they're like, oh, you should try this. And it's like fucking whey paste sprinkled on my rice. And I'm like, mate, you try and give that to someone who actually eats normal food. Like, you're going to be, that's fucking rank.
You got prep brain. Anything to, it's like, oh, check out my protein mug cake. And it's like, you could knock someone out with that brick
that's
that
a
you
hockey
just made.
puck. That's literally a hockey puck in a mug. It's fucking
I tried one of those and he gave me a fucking jaw workout. It's like,
and they're like, it's lush.
Well,
they've got that like ghost food.
Like, I may as well just chew on my fucking slider. Like, that's got more taste and flavor to it. But so like the whole variety thing is, again, it's like, is it that you want variety? Because then the price of variety is more time spent prepping food, probably more food focus, a heftier shopping bill, you know, all of these things, and it's very short-lived. And then, but again, what people are really saying is like, I want to eat fun foods that aren't on my plan.
Every meal.
Every meal when you want. You know.
And the last one we got here is, I'm not organized.
So this is like, I've had a few clients say this recently I've spoke to coaches and they've had clients where they said like, the client just really isn't organized of anything, and they'll say like, oh, I need to get organized with my meals, I'm just struggling with the organization of it. And again, I will look at it and say like, what's your profession? And they'll say, a lot of our guys are very successful business owners, run a business. Do you have employees? Yeah. Do you have to do payroll? Yeah. Do you have to have appointments and schedules? Yeah. Do you organize them? They go, yeah. So you have the skill. Like you have the skill to be organized. So you can organize a team of 50 employees to all operate and function and make you a shitload of money. But you're telling me you can't organize 3 meals in your day. I call bullshit.
Yeah.
So let's talk about why you're not willing to spend the time to get organized. And again, not right or wrong, but like saying I'm just not organized is bollocks. Because you are very organized.
Yeah.
You brush your teeth every morning. You have your suit ready to go. You know when your kids' sports are, and you make sure you're there on time.
They get to school on time.
You're ready for date night. Like you're at work on time. You're very, very organized. Why are you not giving this the same priority? Because that's the question we need to be asking.
Yeah. Is this too far down the priority list for you? So you don't prioritize it enough to get success with it, which again is fine. Like I would like to be good at tennis, but it's fallen too far down the priority list. I haven't played for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like there's things that we want that just aren't a priority to us, and therefore we don't actually get them. And we've now identified that this is yours. So can we move it up the priority list?
Yep.
Now we've identified that it's too far down, or are you willing to accept that you don't want this enough and you're going to accept the outcome for what it is?
This is an easy one to like show that you can be organized in other areas of your life. Like I'd say, pull up your calendar. You can see all your Zoom meetings in there. When your kids' sports games are, it's like, well, I don't see when you're prepping your meals in there.
Yeah.
Tell me why that is.
Yeah.
You know?
The dentist appointments in there. The date night is in there. The kids' school stuff is in there. The parents' evening is in there. Your work meetings are in there. Can't see your training sessions in there.
Yeah.
They're not a priority, hence why they're not on the list.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we make them a priority?
And then you can go back to one of the other, like, I just don't have the time. Well, you do have the time. You're choosing not to make it a priority. And again, it's not that that's wrong. It's just, let's talk about why it's not a priority for you. And are you okay with it being low on the priority? Because it's the same guys that will say, I need to lose 10 pounds. I want this so bad. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm just not organized. I just don't have the time. I don't eat much. And it's like, they say all these things. And it's like, I don't think you really want this.
Yeah.
So let's talk about why. Because again, the guys that really do want it, they just go, give me the plan. I'll do it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, and they'll go on Google, they'll do their due diligence, they'll organize when they're going to prep their meals, they'll tell their spouse that they're on a diet plan, like they'll have their Tupperware, they'll be ready for travel because they want to do it. Like, and again, I'm not saying either is right or wrong, but people, they're saying one thing, but the underlying issue or the underlying problem is not that thing. And so it's our job as coaches is to find out what the actual problem is and see if we can solve that. But so if you ever caught yourself saying those things or anything in general, it's like, are you actually meaning what you say? And this isn't like do you do the things you say you're going to do? It's like, do you actually mean the thing that you're going to say? Like if you say, I just haven't had the time, is that true? Or is it that you just didn't prioritize it?
Say what you mean and mean what you say.
Yeah. I think it's important to break down the statement further than just that face value. I don't have time. Okay, so if you don't have time, let's look at where you allocate your time throughout the day. Can you now find time? Because like if you say you don't have time, but then you have Instagram and you post once, twice, 3 times a week, and then you watch an episode of this. Okay, so now we're identifying there is time that you have. You just allocate it differently. So are you willing to now change your schedule to allow for these behaviors? Because again, if you're not, then why?
It's very often when a client will say, like, oh, I just don't have time. And then you go, cool, let's jump on a call and you show me your calendar. Silence. And it's like, right, you don't like being called out when I'm saying bullshit, like show me your calendar. Or even like, you're not even saying bullshit, you're saying, let me help you. Like, let me help you. Like we can work this out together. And they go, no, like I'm too busy. Okay, so you're not even willing to open the conversation. You're really paralyzing me as a coach here.
Well, what they're then doing is going, look over there and running away.
It's like,
they just tell you to do that.
It's like, oh, you're too busy, but you hopped on a 30-minute call with me off the cuff. I appreciate that. You know?
Yeah, you don't sound that busy.
But so I would just say, like, break down the things that you say, those kind of statements, because we see it on the other side as well. You know, when clients say like, oh, you know, I'm going to really dial it in this week. It's like, what does that mean? Like, what specifically, what actions are you going to take to quote unquote dial it in.
They're almost forms of self-sabotage, and we're not saying they're bad. I do those things as well.
For sure. We all do them.
Literally, I'm not saying that like we don't do them and then our clients like, or people in general make these excuses. I will say stuff like, I'm too busy. Like Jess messaged me yesterday to do a real small task. It would have taken me 5 minutes. And I went, I'm too busy today.
Yeah.
That's horseshit. I was not too busy.
It just wasn't a priority.
It just wasn't a priority for me on that day. So it's like now I'm choosing not to do it. It's not, it wasn't
and then that goes into like, I think it's like you don't say the things because you don't want to either let someone down or piss someone off. Because if you message Jess and said, this is not a priority for me today, that's going to be a Barney for you later on.
Yeah, get that in the neck.
Yeah, and then
in the doghouse.
and then equally, if a client said to you, this just isn't a high priority enough for me to get organized, then I would go like, I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
Like, great. But they don't want to say that because it's like, oh, like I'm basically admitting that I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so you think of these things to either like let people down easy or like almost like let yourself off the hook.
Yeah.
When it's like, just say the thing. Like, what is the actual issue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have time. No, you're choosing not to make the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. I like this one.
Yeah, it was good.
But they're very popular phrase. But like you said, we're all guilty of it. Like we all say these things. But it's important that you call yourself out.
Yeah.
On them
Call
as
yourself
well.
on your own shit.
Yeah. Thank you as always for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes and Spotify. And we'll see you next time.
If you love this show, please like, share, and leave us a 5-star review so that we can help more people. I'm John Madsen, Superhuman CEO, reminding you to always go get what's yours.